Hello, gentlemen. My name is Cherie Weathers. I am a talk show host with Radio 1 1450 WOL. I want to thank the Young and Powerful Obama. Thank you for this. Also, I'm a representative of Urban Motivators for America. What we do is encourage public speaking through the youth from ages 8 to 11 to create more powerful orators like you two gentlemen and like many people in this room. We thank you. How does that help the youth become better speakers to create men and women like you for the future?
Well, he gonna speak it for real. I think, look, obviously, I remember at 11 years old, and like Reverend Jackson, I'm from the gut bucket glory of the ghetto. I came out of what some call a cesspool. My pastor used to remind me about a lily growing in the midst of the cesspool, or Tupac said, a rose in the concrete. So at 11 years old, I heard over the loudspeaker, people competing in 7th grade for oratorical contests. I didn't know what the word oratorical meant. So
yes.
I went up to Mr. Burdett up after school, and I said, "What's an oratorical?" He said, "Give a speech." I said, "Oh, no." He said, "Come here, young man." He began to tutor me. He began to encourage me. I won my first prize for oratory at the age of 11.
Yes.
And I was in the Detroit News. 12-year-old boys plead against racism wins award. I can't even tell you the sense of pride.
So wow.
And the claim. But the reality is that verbal inventiveness that was transmitted, that Reverend Jackson has spoken about, because even though you ain't a minister, but you're in the orbit of black rhetoric. The reality is that informed me, that influenced me, that shaped me. I heard great preachers in our church, including Reverend Jackson, Frederick Sampson, Carolyn Knight, Vashti McKenzie, Prathia Hall. I heard William Augustus Jones and his brother Henry. So Gardner Taylor. So you talking about the great traditions oratorically, they're not just about speech. People make a fundamental error when they think black style is a replacement for black substance. No. Black style is a vehicle for substance.
Yes.
When Michael Jordan puts the ball through his leg and do what other cats can't do in the majority culture, they might be, in one sense, astonished by his movements, but he's still scoring 2 points.
Absolutely.
Points are the substance. He led the league in scoring, and he had better style. You can have a speech 5 score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Or 5 score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. So that the style becomes a way, even in Greek rhetoric, the pleasures of the text, or as Roland Barthes calls it, the pleasure of the text, seduces people into listening. And once you get them there, you begin to give them the substance. Who's going to hear the speech of Reverend Jackson this morning and deny that per square inch, that's the most beef outside of Morton's and all the steakhouses up in this city right here, when it was focused in a way that was passionate and intelligent simultaneously? That's, I believe, the source of inspiring young people to use words as both weapons and vehicles.
Yes.
Weapons to fight wars against the vulnerable, and vehicles of enlightenment and engagement that allows us to talk to one another, because we can talk and we can learn to use it. Homer could neither read nor write. Ain't nobody gonna call him illiterate. So we have to be very careful about that. But I'll yield the floor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jackson.
Well, it's a combination of style, written in situation, and environment. You don't tell nobody how to scream fire when they see fire.
Right.
That's profound. You don't tell them the more volume either, because the situation. So I remember one time we were thrilled in losing our school accreditation demonstrating in Greensboro, and I was told by the president of the I said, if you don't stop marching, your degrees will not have validity. Students were saying, what was our dignity? And they were depressing me. Somehow I've been, the reason I can't quite explain has to be the spokesman, shouldn't have been elected. And we walked up to the church, and they would come behind me with their toothbrushes, silver night in jail. So I got up on the stand with about 3,000 there for Jimmy Farmer. And I didn't want the press to confuse my language. So I said, demonstration without hesitation, jail without bail, form of march. Give me a place I'm rhyming, except I know that rhyming and rhythm is a way of penetrating. Now, the King spoke about the Vietnam War for a long time. People just thought that was academic. Marvin Gaye said what's going on. Everybody got it. So
Right.
We struggle to penetrate with our language. And part of it's environment, and part of it is our predicament.
Okay.
The predicament is whatever you're trying to address. I'm talking to students today. I'm trying to get them to know that this is not a 4-year battle. Rock said to me one time, he was at Columbia, I guess I was debating Mondale and he watched the debate. He said, this can happen. This can happen.
Amen.
And so the whole idea of sowing seeds and telling our story in ways that can be heard. The other way, you go to a school and give a speech in the black church, and somebody say that was a good speech.
Right.
They really meant they didn't understand what you were talking
Ooh.
about. Only against that, I felt you. I mean, you were connected to what you were talking about. So that's something ultimate. The most powerful statement is authenticity.
Okay.
Are you authentic? Is there a gap between what you say and what you believe and how you? Is it authentic?
Yes, sir.
And when you hear Michael using his intellectual strength, you sense he knows, feels, he's into it, goes with him, because it's authentic. You know?
Yes, sir.
And so at the end of the day, speaking is not just how you round O's and the like, it's how, but you're authentic in your speech.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, gentlemen.